Ever get that little knot of nervousness when you have to order food in English? Today, we're untangling that feeling for good.
It's a surprisingly common experience. Ordering food is such a universal activity, but navigating it in another language can feel like learning a whole new social dance.
Exactly. We're diving into a practice conversation designed to help English learners sound more natural when ordering, specifically in a cafe setting, because, let's face it, everyone loves a good cafe stop.
A perfect training ground. It's got the classic ordering elements, but in a more relaxed environment than, say, a fancy restaurant.
Right. So you can master the basics without feeling like you're under a spotlight. Now, one of the first things that jumped out from this practice session was the power of a simple phrase, like, I'd like.
It's like the gold standard of ordering. It gets straight to the point while still being polite and universally understood. Think about it. Can I get can sound a bit demanding, and I want, well, that's just ordering like a toddler.
And you definitely don't want to be that person in line. Plus, there's something about I'd like that just sounds so deliciously confident.
It really does. And slipping in a please at the end, chef's kiss. It elevates the whole interaction.
Politeness, the secret ingredient to a smooth ordering experience. But okay, let's say you've aced your I'd like moment. What about those follow-up questions? What size would you like or anything else for you? Those can throw you for a loop.
Absolutely. It's like the server just tossed you the conversational ball and you weren't quite ready to catch it. But don't worry, we're going to practice those catches. Let's start with sizes small, medium, large, the usual suspects.
Now, you'd think those would be easy enough to handle. But when you're nervous, even simple words can feel jumbled.
It's true. It's like that fight or flight response kicks in and suddenly you've forgotten how to say medium. But that's where practice is key. Even just listening to these common exchanges helps build that fluency.
For sure. And speaking of practice, let's talk about those tempting extras. When the server hits you with that, would you like a pastry with that? And suddenly your willpower crumbles faster than a croissant.
Ah, yes. The art of the upsell. It's a subtle dance, isn't it? But the good news is, the source material gave us some great moves to navigate this. Like if you need a moment to gather your thoughts or resist that chocolate chip cookie calling your name, a simple, actually, buys you some time without sounding flustered.
Right. It's like a polite pause button.
Yeah.
And if you do decide to indulge, you can bring back that trusty I'd like. It creates a nice sense of consistency in your order.
Exactly. But what about when you need to decline? Maybe you're on a budget watching your diet or just really, really full.
Well, in those cases, the source material suggests keeping it simple and polite with a, no, just the item today. Thanks. No need to over-explain, right?
Precisely. Short, sweet, and to the point. Now, one thing I found particularly interesting in this practice conversation was the emphasis on order confirmation. You might not realize how important that step is until you've had an order go hilariously wrong.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I once ended up with a tuna melt instead of a veggie burger because I was too flustered to correct the server. So trust me, confirmation is key. But in the source material, it's actually the waiter who takes the lead on this.
Yes, and I think that's a really important point for language learners to remember. In many English-speaking cultures, it's considered good service for the server to repeat the order back to you. So don't be surprised if they do this. They're not doubting your English. They're just making sure everyone's on the same page.
And it's your chance to flex those clarifying muscles. If something sounds off, don't be afraid to politely say, actually, I meant, Remember, this is about communication, not perfection.
It's a team effort. Speaking of teamwork, that brings us to the grand finale of the ordering process, payment. You might not realize how many micro decisions happen in those last few moments. Oh, totally. Cash or card. Wait, do they take Apple Pay? What if I only have a 5 and a pack of gum? My brain goes into overdrive.
And that inner monologue can get even louder when you're trying to process those questions in another language. But here's the thing. Servers have seen it all, and they're there to help. So if you're unsure about something, maybe the payment options aren't clear, or you're not sure how much to tip, just ask.
It's so much easier than overthinking it, right?
Mhm.
A simple, do you take credit cards? Or what are the payment options? Can work wonders. Now, beyond these specific phrases, this practice conversation also highlighted a bigger takeaway for me. The importance of active listening, even when you're not the one ordering.
Absolutely. Next time you're at a cafe, even if you're just grabbing a coffee to go, pay attention to how other people order. Notice the phrases they use, the way the server responds. It's like free language practice in action.
I've been to cafes in so many different countries, and it always amazes me how those basic ordering patterns repeat no matter the language.
Exactly. It makes you realize how much we rely on these unspoken scripts in our everyday interactions. But once you become aware of those scripts, you can start to master them. Which brings us to our final thought for you. We've unpacked all these great phrases and strategies, but the real magic happens when you start using them in the real world.
It's true. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, to stumble over your words a bit. Ordering food in English isn't about being perfect. It's about building confidence and connection.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So go forth, deep divers, order that cappuccino with confidence and enjoy that little victory because every interaction, every I'd like, brings you one step closer to fluency.
Until next time, happy ordering.